Guy America here with a news story about a Colorado mayor that went above and beyond, and what he did inspired me to create this video.
That prompted Aurora Mayor Mike Coffman to go undercover as a homeless person for 7 days and nights. He told only Sean Boyd about what he was doing. She joins us now live from Aurora this evening. And Sean, this is pretty extreme, so why did he do it?
Karen, he wanted to find out why so many people are living on the streets. Who are they? How did they become homeless? And what really is going on in the encampments? He wanted answers not from advocates who may have agendas, but from the homeless themselves, which meant becoming one of them. So he took vacation, took to the streets, and for 1 week, Mayor Coffman became Homeless Mike.
Now, I'm a pretty old dude, so I've seen my fair share of government waste, so I really admire what this guy tried to do.
I have towels, socks, my tarp.
That's what you'll sleep under. The day after Christmas, Mike Coffman packed a bag, promised to stay in touch with me,
I'm going to just periodically text you.
and went undercover to live among the homeless.
This week is going to be spent on the streets.
What's your story when you go in there? Are you Mike?
I'm a homeless veteran. Mike is fine. I have one identification card with me in case I get injured.
And you've had COVID.
Yes.
With no money, no food, and no protection, Coffman set out. Be safe.
I will.
Be safe. Spending 7 days and nights in shelters and encampments in Aurora and Denver, sleeping under a tarp in temperatures in the teens.
Well, that sounds like some bullshit.
We met up with him at one point as he talked with some of the homeless.
How long you been here? Where you from? Oh, you shot some heroin? I think this is a really, really tough problem. And I don't think a lot of policymakers like myself really understand it. There's just so many questions that I have. Where does their income from? How do they exist? What is the profile of these people in these homeless encampments?
It most certainly is a really tough problem, but I'm not too sure I agree with the conclusion that he came to doing this.
These encampments are not a product of an economy under COVID. They are not a product of rental rates, housing. They are a product of a drug culture.
Where he says mostly young adults openly use meth, heroin, and cocaine, and lots of well-meaning people provide money, food, and other necessities that sustain them.
I would think after establishing that they were addicted to drugs, I would want to try figuring out the psychology behind what led up to that drug use.
One of the first people I ran into in an encampment, I said, well, you know, where do you get food? And he goes, people bring us food. And I almost really didn't believe it at first.
Until he saw it repeatedly.
I think the first car had homemade chicken noodle soup that was incredible, and banana nut bread, which was amazing too. And so 30 minutes later, another car comes by. It's just amazing how people want to help. They think that this cause is a just cause.
They think that this cause is a just cause? Well, that kind of sounds like he's blaming the people helping them for the problem.
This is not about a lack of shelter.
It really isn't. It absolutely is not. It is a lifestyle choice, and it is a very dangerous lifestyle choice.
I'm sorry, but I find it really hard to believe that living on the streets begging for food is a lifestyle choice. If that is true, what he's saying is people would rather do that than wake up every morning to go to work. So that would mean living on the streets is better than having a job.
Enjoy your lunch.
While the shelters don't allow drug use, Coffman says most don't search residents either. He sent me this picture of hypodermic needles on the floor of the bunk beneath him. Most of those here, he says, are older, receive disability checks, and have no plans to become self-sufficient.
Did you catch that? He says most of the shelter residents are older and on disability with no plans to become self-sufficient. I'm actually trying to get disability, and I can assure you that the thought of waking up every morning to go to work with a bad shoulder, hip, and knee, that would be absolute torture for me. I can only work for about 20 minutes before my entire right side starts to flare up, and if I do too much throughout the day, I'm in too much pain to sleep at night.
The broadest category are drug and alcohol problems, where people have settled into this sort of lifestyle, and they're just not, you know, decades go by and they're not moving on.
Now, I want to point out my privilege here, because the only reason you're seeing this video is because I have family that is supporting me trying to do this YouTube thing. I'm a pretty firm believer that we're all products of our environment, so I can't say for sure that I wouldn't be using drugs to escape my reality if I didn't have this support system.
In some ways, he says, dependency becomes easier than self-sufficiency.
I can watch TV all day, eat a lot. And then there's a van that takes me in the evening to the overnight shelter. And then there's a van that picks me up in the morning and takes me back to the day resource center.
Now, I suspect that if Mike tried this a little bit longer, he'd quickly realize that watching TV and eating all day isn't as great as it sounds. I think humans have a desire to experience as much as life has to offer, and that doesn't sound like a life, which would explain the drug use to escape reality.
But an extraordinary challenge that it's going to take a different vision to resolve. And it's not going to be doing more of the same. It's not going to be spending more money to do the same stuff.
I totally agree with him here, so I'm looking forward to watching him try to solve this homelessness problem. And I would like to encourage other leaders to follow his lead. I admire people who can admit that they don't have the answers and do the hard work to come up with them. I would bet one of the very few things that all humans have in common is that we're all just a bunch of idiots trying to figure out life.
Yes, you are a bunch of idiots. Dolphin Wolf is playing if only we had thumbs.
Well, that might be true, dog. But anyway, I'd love to see a system that would allow communities to try different ideas so we can see what works and what doesn't. So maybe that's where we need to start. Develop an innovation platform where people can pitch their ideas that can help form their local government and then share that data with other communities. Make it easier for people to find candidates that share their views so they can vote for them and follow their work after they get elected.
Mayor Coffman told me many of those he met were from out of state, and I found this interesting. He says he actually had to convince those in the encampments to let him stay there. The camps, he says, are like small communities with even their own unofficial leaders.
Now, if I could figure out how to make enough money to buy land, I would love to see if any of these homeless people would be interested in participating in a reality show about building a community from scratch. And who knows? Maybe that could transform into an effective solution to the problem. The entertainment industry will probably boom as we transition to an automated workforce.
You would probably innovate faster too if they share their experience building new communities.
That's a good point, dog. Maybe set up a computer for them to do research on how to build their tiny homes, which would probably also give them a sense of self-worth.
Sean, so what does he plan to do with what he's learned now? What's next?
Would you believe a week before he hit the streets, Karen, he got a call from Denver Mayor Michael Hancock about working on a metro-wide approach to homelessness. Coming up tomorrow at 6, some major changes Coffman wants to see, and they don't include a camping ban here in Aurora.
That sounds like a good idea, too. Maybe have communities all around the state pitching on land in a county with some lax building codes to offer the homeless an opportunity to live there. Seems like all it takes to lose your home in this country is a couple bad months, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's some brilliant people stuck in these situations. So if you're a politician or thinking about a career as one, be more like Mike. I find people that admit that they don't know things are way more trusting than the ones that try to have an answer for everything.
If you don't subscribe and hit that like button below, that's some bullshit. Squirrel!